First, I want to express the continual grief that I feel related to what I shared in my personal statement on December 12th about my failures that occurred years ago. I will talk more about that in the future, but that is not the purpose of this short video. I am making this video on January 30th, 2024, but the timing in which I release it will be according to what honors the request of the leadership team and those giving me counsel. It has been my commitment for 40 years to not defend myself against accusation. I have set my heart to walk out this commitment in this crisis. In this video, I will only make one statement. It is one that relates to our prophetic history and how it affects the lives of those who value it. I am only speaking to this group. I am not speaking to persuade my accusers of anything. I am only making one statement, and it is with the intent of benefiting our staff, to speak into how some of your family, friends, and supporters view the prophetic history and your involvement at the International House of Prayer in Kansas City. I have never told any woman that, quote, God told me that Diane would die, and that God told me to marry them, unquote. Diane is the one who told me that she believed that she would die young. In the earlier years of our marriage, she had a foreboding sense that she would die young. We spoke about this several times. Diane will say, yes, it is true. In the earlier years of our marriage, I had reoccurring thoughts about this. Several women in our ministry died young, and it triggered me. Mike and I spoke about this often. I assured her if such a terrible tragedy occurred that I would live a monastic lifestyle the rest of my days. For decades, I have read about the lives of people with unusual devotion to Jesus, such as Bernard of Clairvaux, Teresa of Avila, David Brainerd, and many more. I do not agree with all their theology, but I am inspired by their love for Jesus and lifestyle. Diane will say, for many years he has read about the lives of the people he mentioned. I remember how he fasted over the years. If I had the hardness of heart to totally fabricate such a horrible and evil statement as this, and repeat it often, then it would lead some to believe that I made up the testimonies in our prophetic history. That would be horrific prophetic manipulation. The false narrative about me saying God told me, blah blah blah, calls into question the truthfulness of the prophetic history. Did Bob Jones really speak of seeing Gabriel and a comet coming in May 1983, and many more testimonies? Thus, our entire prophetic history would be in question. I am making this statement because of the pain and burden that my family endures in continually having to answer the following question to their friends. Did Mike really say that God told him Diane would die, blah, blah, blah? I am pained by the intense pressures that my total silence specifically on this issue has caused our natural family and our spiritual family. This false narrative is an assault against our prophetic history that causes much pain and turmoil in our staff by forcing them to answer for it to their family, friends, and supporters. It has resulted in much pain in their relationship and significant loss of income to some, and thus it has greatly affected their personal life. This is not okay with me. Our prophetic history is a true God story. It is a true corporate narrative that is for the benefit of our children and grandchildren. Diane will say, yes, this is a powerful generational story. Your place in the prophetic history is real, regardless of how the Lord leads me in the future. Some people might ask, why would I ever talk about premature deaths of loved ones? The biblical narrative of the end times makes it clear that many will die by natural disasters, famine, pestilence, violence, and persecution. Thus, unnatural death of loved ones will be one of the primary conversations in the human family in the years leading to the return of Jesus. One of Satan's main agendas in this is to cause people to be offended at God's leadership. I have spoken in many settings over many years to many different people about the coming death of loved ones, and the need to not be offended at Jesus' leadership if it occurred. I have personally processed the pain of 4 premature deaths in my immediate family. I had to process how to see and trust God's excellent leadership in the face of what I saw as premature death. I care intensely about this subject. It is very personal to me. The Father's heart must be seen. He deeply cares about the pain, fear, and confusion that so many of his children will be experiencing in the days to come, and he has a good plan already set in place. But we must wrestle with it to gain understanding and have peace. I am confident that the end-time bride will tenderly and boldly cry out, I love you, Jesus, and I trust your perfect leadership. I am not offended. Into your hands I commit my spirit. You are worthy of all our love. This is our family declaration. Pray from Ephesians 1 verse 17.